All right, Cubs fam, we have got Ranger in here. We're going to have a conversation about Star Wars Hunters, which is coming next year. And I think we got a soft launch here pretty soon. We're probably going to have people able to do some VPN work to get the game a little bit early. And the biggest question I have right now that I kind of want to discuss and unpack, now obviously I think there's no way that this game would kill Galaxy of Heroes. They're two different games. They are of the same IP. But Ranger, where are you at on this? Do you think that Star Wars Hunters could be a bad thing for Galaxy of Heroes? For example, a bunch of people maybe not feeling great about Galaxy of Heroes right now. Hunters drops, and that kind of becomes their new main Star Wars squeeze.
Well, there's so much to unpack there. My initial response is no,
Okay.
but there's a lot of things that go with that. I mean, from everything I've seen, I haven't seen gameplay footage from Hunters.
Yeah.
So it looks like Overwatch, which is cool. But I mean, I've done that in the past. I used to do SWGoH, but I would take breaks from it and go play Battlefront 2 when that was big.
Right.
And play that, but I would always come back to SWGoH, so I just don't think, I mean, unless there's something I'm missing on besides, the Overwatch feel, that first person shooter kind of aspect to it. I'm curious, but I'm not really interested. I mean, I've played, Battlefront. That's kind of like my first person shooter for Star Wars. It looks cool, but I mean, maybe you can customize your characters and stuff and things, but I mean, nothing. I'm not overwhelmed with Hunters. I mean, it looks cool. I love the trailer, but it didn't. If it's Overwatch, I'm like, okay, it'll be something to do when I'm not doing SWGoH. I mean, but that'd be about the for me, that is. But you never know. You never know when a game's going to become a phenomenon and take off. And so I mean, the future's uncertain. But I remember we had this discussion with Marvel Strike Force back in the day. Will this be what's going to happen with SWGoH? And it did just fine. So for me, it's another game coming. It's coming in 2022. We're not even going to know what the status is until for SWGoH at that time. So it could be in a weak position or a stronger position. So there's a lot to unpack.
To be fair, game is in a different place right now, though, than it was when Marvel Strike Force hit, right? And I mean, things weren't necessarily perfect back then, but I think there's been a lot of big hits to the game right now, and community morale is just really low. I appreciate a lot of what you're saying, though, too. I mean, they're two totally different kind of games, and so seeing them having a big impact maybe doesn't make a ton of sense. However, I did run a poll. This is obviously anecdotal, just to the people that have followed me on my stream before we made this video. And of my sample size, 79% of my people are wanting to check out this game. They're excited to play it for Star Wars Hunters. And so example I'll give is we had a Marvel Future Revolution hit recently, which doesn't really impact Galaxy of Heroes a ton. Two totally different kind of games, different IPs and everything. But just the fact that when I went into Marvel Future Revolution, there was so much to do. It was like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? It gave me a big hit on my drive to play Galaxy of Heroes because I was just having so much more fun over here. And so kind of the question I'm asking myself is, if we have 70-something% of this community checking out Hunters, and let's say the game ends up being banger, how many people are going to have their drive to play Galaxy of Heroes diminished when they can choose between going in and playing this new engaging Star Wars game? And of course, we're assuming a lot here, but say that it's good, or grind quest, right? What's the choice going to be? And so maybe it's not like this game is causing people to quit the game and it's going to kill the game or anything like that. I don't think it's necessarily that kind of conversation, but how many people are going to have their amount of time invested in Galaxy of Heroes take a hit because of this new Star Wars mobile game, which it's been and a big reason why I talk about this too is it's been a long time since we've had a new Star Wars mobile game.
Yeah. I mean, it's the new kid on the block. I'm sure I'm going to curiously check it out, but none of even when I was doing Battlefront 2, none of the games, and they were different, right? Battlefront was Battlefront when I was doing Battlefront, but I still did SWGoH stuff. I remember when Star Wars Arena was out, that came out. There's been a couple other ones. And then there's been some console games. We had people had made the same kind of discussion with what was the pilot one that just recently came out last year. I'm drawing a blank on
the Lego battles.
Well, Lego was one of them. The other one was where you like you can.
Oh, you're talking Squadrons. You're talking Squadrons.
Thank you. I just have it's been a long day. So I mean, it just depends. I mean, people are going to gravitas to those games that they want to play. I mean, if you're tired of SWGoH and you're looking for something else, you're going to go find something else. I just feel.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I mean. For me, I'm still enjoying SWGoH. There's stuff I'm upset about. Yeah, of course there is. I ranted about it a couple weeks ago, right? There's things that I'd like to see improved and changed, and and change in SWGoH is slow. But we'll see. I mean, by 2022, this SWGoH will be going on 7 years. What do they have in store? What's going to come out? What changes are they going to make? That's going to be another part of this equation that we have to take into consideration. But I think we're all gamers. We're all going to check stuff out. So for me, checking out this new game would be cool. And if it's cool, yeah, sure, I'll invest time in it and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, it depends. How good is the game? How much time do I want to devote to it? Stuff like that. So yeah.
It's pretty hypothetical, but with Hunters getting a lot closer, I think it's at least worth discussing. I know, at least for me, it sounds like you're not interested in Star Wars Hunters as much as I am. I'm really interested in it. I think probably if we just kind of get into the conversation on Hunters specifically, one of the biggest, I think, hits I think the game takes for me is there's not a lot of familiar characters in there. It looks like it's all pretty generic. Now, what they're doing looks fun and exciting. I mean, having an Ugnaught in a droideka is pretty cool. The Jawas stacked on top of each other seems pretty cool. We got Mandalorian characters. We got a Sith lady. I'm not sure if she's Sith or not, but she's wielding a red lightsaber. So there's exciting things there, but it's kind of, obviously something about Galaxy of Heroes that you just can't touch is just how many characters in universe you get to interact and play with, right? And I think that's one of the biggest appeals for a game, especially when you've been playing it for 6 years plus soon. It's going to be hard to have something fully replace that, right?
Yeah. I mean, every game has its niche and it has its thing. I mean, whether it's the Old Republic or Rogue Squadrons or, the old, Knights of the Old Republic or, any of those kind of games, Battlefront, there's different reasons why you play them that draw you in if you're a Star Wars fan and you love games. There's been a lot of different reasons why I play different games. For me, I'll start games. I always will go look at them, but for me, it has to be something there that really draws me in, or it's a franchise. For me, like Castlevania was always this franchise that I just really enjoyed Castlevania, and not everybody enjoyed those games, but I did. Or, Final Fantasy. If it's got that kind of feel to it and it's different, then
I love Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So it's there's different reasons why people will go to a game. I don't know how this will affect SWGoH in the long term. I mean, they're both Star Wars properties. I'm sure Lucas is going to be happy no matter what. So we'll see. We just have to see. I mean, to say, will it have an impact? Possibly. It could have no impact. It could have some impact. It could have a huge impact. It's hard to judge, since it's it's going to be on mobile as well. We'll have to wait and see what the results are. How good is the game too? I mean, that's going to be a big thing. If it's a repetitive game where you just go in, it's like Overwatch, you can have a lot of fun doing it, but those games have a life cycle as well.
Yeah. Here's my theory. My prediction, rather, is will Hunters affect people and how much they play Galaxy of Heroes? Probably. Will that impact be significant? Probably not. It is kind of where I'm sitting. The only thing I think that can kill Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Like the only reason this game is going to stop at some point is because of either decisions made by the dev studio or we just reach the natural end of the game. Even if they make all the right decisions, there could just reach a point where it's just like this game doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I don't think it's going to be some new sexy toy that everyone gravitates towards, and all of a sudden Galaxy of Heroes is obsolete. I don't see that happening. So
there's only been one instance I can ever think of in a game, and that was Star Wars Galaxies, where Sony came in and just did the NGE and completely killed the game. It's very rare. That's the only game I can ever remember playing where I'm like, oh, hell no. I immediately went to do something else because it was immediately the death knell in that game. Most of the time it's decisions over time. The game, they make poor decisions. You don't like it. You just get tired of it. Sometimes you just stop playing a game. I stopped playing the Old Republic. I'd done everything. There wasn't much for me to do. They weren't putting out new content. And I was like, I have done this stuff a million times. I've done through every storyline. I'm doing the same stuff over. There's nothing new on the horizon. This game's dead. I'm moving on. And
that's kind of how Galaxy of Heroes feels to me right now, honestly, except for the nothing new comment. Because I do have confidence that something new will come, and that there's stuff to look forward to right now. But right now, with what I have in front of me, man, it's stale right now. I'm having a hard time logging in.
Yeah, I mean it's because of Conquest, and it's because of just how grindy it is. And I mean, I'm about to get the red crate again, and I'm gonna get it a third time.
Yeah, I'm impressed for your drive, man. Well, I'm not gonna get it.
Well, it's
not because I couldn't.
Sure, but we know a lot of people that are like that, but it's just there'll be changes. We'll see what those are. Will they be positive or negative? I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know what the changes are going to be. We'll see what happens. It's up to it's up to Capital Games to make those decisions based off what they're seeing, and hopefully they can put out a product that we enjoy. Because this is, in the end of the day, they are different games. Hunters is more like we said, Overwatch. Galaxy Heroes is more of a collection game where you go and you get your pieces.
The only real connection is the IP. That's it. But the IP is powerful. Like, that's what's going to draw people to play the game. Would I be thinking about playing Hunters if it wasn't Star Wars? Absolutely not. I wouldn't.
No.
But because it's Star Wars, I'm all in, right? And so I think that's how a lot of people look at this. So anyway, I think that's a good discussion, Ranger. I want to thank you for coming on. We always love having you on the channel. You guys can check out Ranger with the Reality Skewed Gamers podcast and a YouTube channel. I've got links to his stuff down below. There is so much going on with Ranger and his channel and everything they're doing. You guys need to be a part of it. So go ahead and subscribe to them if you haven't already. So anyway, Ranger, thanks for joining me, man.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks for joining me. And what do we say at the end here, Ranger?
Han shot first.
That a boy!